Hey, I'm here today to show you some tips and tricks on how to achieve this terry cloth bath mat. You got this in your subscription box, and there are some tips and tricks that are easier to explain on video rather than through pictures and the tutorial I normally send you. So I'm sending a link to you today to show you little bits and pieces on how to achieve this. First and foremost, it does take time. This bath mat isn't a quick craft, and that's okay because not all crafts are. And this craft does take a little bit of time. So if you can do it all in one sitting, you go ahead. If you get tired and you wanna, take a break and try it for a different day, do that as well. I have found a really meditative kind of rhythm doing this. I have put on music, I have my coffee, I sometimes grab a glass of wine. So I have found this actually really meditative and really fun in that way, where it makes me sit, be still, concentrate on something, and be creative. So first and foremost, find a place that's comfortable. Right here, I'm at our coffee table. I've put a blanket down below me. If you want to be at a dining room table, that's fine too, but find a place where you are feeling supported. I was working on the ground with this on the ground and leaning over, and I felt it was hurting my back a lot. So just keep that in mind when you find a place. So right now I'm at our coffee table, and that's really been a great move for having the right space and my arms in the right angles to do this. Otherwise, there are some other things about how we can weave this, and I will go over those next. So first, when I cut this, I like to make sure that this is on a very flat surface and it just lays flat. It just makes it a lot easier to cut. I then do about a ½ inch, and you can estimate, it doesn't have to be perfect. And I just cut down the edge. And if you want to measure first, you can, but really once it's all in the bath mat, then you're not going to notice if one is a ½ inch, one is a little bit less, one is a little bit more. I sometimes do a little bit less than a ½ inch because it's easier to push through the squares. I then take about 4 strips or so. You can do more, you can do less, and I like to cut them at the same time. So these have some edges that I don't want, so I'm just gonna cut them off here, discard that. And then we're gonna do all of our pieces about 6 inches each, and I just estimate. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be exact. So this is about 6, and I cut through. Then pull this through, that's about 6, cut. 6, This is a little bit of a messier craft. You're gonna get white fuzz everywhere. So just keep that in mind and where you're gonna do it too. I vacuum every time after I work on a little bit of this rug. So just keep that in mind. It is messy, and that's okay. Crafts are not always neat. And yeah, so just keep on doing this and repeat. And if they get out of line, you just line them back up. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. About 6 inches, here we go. 6 more inches. These are the ends we can now discard. Discard those, keep this. You now have a pile ready to work with. Okay, to get started, we're gonna do the edge. And when we do the edge here, we are gonna do a piece of fabric across the 3 of these squares, and we're gonna do it on every square to make the edges really thick and solid. In here, we will do every other line, and I'll show you that. And but first, here we're gonna do every square. Unless it gets really crowded, I tend to skip one because it doesn't have to be absolutely every one, but that's basically what you're gonna do. So we have the rug upside down right now, and you're gonna pull this through, skip one square, go down the next square. The edges are a little fragile on the rug canvas, so just don't pull it through as hard as you can for the rest of the rug. So you're gonna do that. Next one down, see this is the next square down. Put the corner of the fabric in, pull down, corner of the fabric down. Again, skipping one square, going down another square, and pulling through. The edges are a little wobbly sometimes, but once you get in the middle of it, it's pretty easy to pull through. Again, next square down, go through the edge square, pull through, skip one square, go down the next. You can make sure they're somewhat even, doesn't have to be perfect. The ends here, like that, and you're gonna continue. Pull this down, wiggle it through gently, skip a square, go down the next square, and there you go. This one seems, you know, it's a little crowded right there, so I'm just gonna skip this one. It doesn't need to be everyone. When it's on the other side, you're not gonna be able to tell. For the ease of just getting all these in here, I'm gonna skip this one, go to the next, and go down. And then finish that edge, and I'll show you what to do for the next row. Okay, once you're done with filling in this row, go ahead and flip it over. And you're gonna make a single knot. Try not to pull too hard because you don't want to curl the rug canvas. This is the rug canvas. You don't want it to bunch, so just pull enough to make it snug. Okay, so we are done with this row here, and this is a really solid row. And this is almost every square here. Next, we're gonna skip a whole line of squares. So you're gonna start one over from that, and then we're gonna work and we're still working 3 squares, but we're gonna skip one over. So, go ahead and put the corner in, go down, see how we skipped this square? Skip one over and put the corner in that way. Like so. See that? We're going over 3 squares here, 1, 2, 3, but we skipped this one. Next, and this is what we're gonna do for all the middle ones, we're now gonna skip this line. It's gonna be so full, you don't need it in every single one. So then I'm going down this one, and this one. So you see that? Skipped this line, and I also skipped one right here. So if you're really trying to count where this one is to make it simpler, you remember these are all 3 squares. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the start of that would be 5 from the edge here. From the top here, it'd be 1, 2, 3. Again, we're gonna skip another row. We're gonna go down these sides. Skip another row, go down here, and I will show you what it's looking like. Okay, so here again, we're skipping this whole row right here in between the 2 rows, and this is every other row there that we're putting it through, and you continue. This is my little trick. I put one hand under the rug canvas and one hand over, and it makes it super easy to weave through and do it quickly. All right, so now here you can see that we've gone through, we have skipped every other line here, every other row, and at the very end, we have one extra row. Don't worry about that, that will eventually be covered, doesn't need to come to the edge, but just know when you start, we're gonna skip again another full line here, and we're gonna start here, and again, just start at the top. So then when you go through it all again, you will probably have one left over at the end. And like I said, again, it will all get covered because it will be so poofy. So let's go ahead and flip this over, make all the knots, and then I'll show you where I start again. See how that's all knotted now? Okay, so now we flip it back over. And this is where we ended last time with that row, with that empty 3 squares right there. Empty 3 squares. So this time we're gonna start right here. Start at the top. Always start at the top, then start skipping. When you have one left over at the end, that's totally fine. Just always start at the top. Oh, sorry. We're gonna skip this line here. So we're gonna start here at the very top. And if this is all so confusing, all you have to know is you can just put these strips wherever you want on here. And if it starts looking, you know, if you flip it over and there's holes, then you just add more. It doesn't even have to be in a row. It could be all over the place. You could just start however you want. And so just know it doesn't have to be perfect. The end result is gonna be the same. The shag is so big that you can't see these lines on the other side. These lines are mostly just to help guide you in a way, but if all else fails, you can still get the same result by just starting to put these fabric in some of the holes and tying them, fabric in some of the holes and tying them, flipping it over after a while and being like, oh, there's a hole there, we need to put more in that area. So just know that this is kind of foolproof. Although this seems complicated to follow the pattern, it's mostly complicated because I'm not right in front of you to show you. Otherwise, this whole project isn't really complicated one bit. It is more just, you know, a little bit of time and for you to have fun with it. So I'm gonna continue this, and you continue this throughout the whole rug, and you will eventually get something more like this. So beautiful, right? So fun. Have fun with it, guys. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, go ahead and email us at hello@socialcrafts.com. hello@socialcrafts.com. We'll be more than willing to help you out. I hope this tutorial helped you finish your beautiful rug, and I can't wait to see any pictures that you guys post. Just make sure you tag us at Social Crafts and hashtag us Social Crafts and hashtag Yay for Crafts, YAYFORCRAFTS. Thanks guys, see you next time.